This is a timeline of the history of Korea. Some dates prior to the 6th century are speculative or approximate. Prehistory, 500th millennium BC, beginning of the Paleolithic period. 8th millennium BC, beginning of the Mesolithic Geomun pottery period. 35th century BC, appearance of pit-comb ware culture, beginning of the Middle Geomun pottery period. Early history, 2333 BC, legendary establishment of Gojoseon by Dangun. BC, legendary establishment of Gojoseon by Jeija, 1500 BC, beginning of the Mumun pottery period. 15–10th century BC, beginning of the Bronze Age. 800 BC, beginning of the Liaoning bronze dagger culture. 400 BC, beginning of the Iron Age. 300 BC, establishment of Jin in southern Korean peninsula. Proto-Three Kingdoms, 195 BC, establishment of Women Joseon. 108 BC, Han Dynasty destroys Women Joseon, establishing four commanderies in northern Korean peninsula. 57 BC, traditional date for the founding of Silla by Bakhyokgyos. 37 BC, traditional date for the founding of Goryeo by Jumung. 18 BC, traditional date for the founding of Baekje by Unjo. Three Kingdoms, 42, traditional date for the founding of Gaya by Suro. 53, Goryeo becomes a centralized kingdom under Taejo's reign. 234, Baekje becomes a centralized kingdom under Goi's reign. 313, Goryeo destroys Lelang commandery. 356, Silla becomes a centralized kingdom under Naimul's reign. 371, Baekje's king Yunkogo invades Goryeo and kills King Gugwon. 372, under Soshirim, Goryeo imports Buddhism from former Qin of China. 384, Kimayo of Baekje officially adopts Buddhism. 392, Gwangato the Great of Goryeo begins his reign, expanding Goryeo into a major regional power. 413, Jansu of Goryeo erects the Gwangato stele. 433, Baekje and Silla form an alliance against Goryeo's aggression. 475, Goryeo attacks Baekje and captures Hanseong. Baekje moves its capital south to Ungjin, and again to Sabi in 523. 494, last remains of Bui are absorbed by Goryeo. 498, Baekje attacks Tamna. 512, Silla conquers Yusan. 527, Silla formally adopts Buddhism. 553, Silla attacks Baekje, breaking the alliance. 562, Silla completes annexation of Gaya. 598, first of a series of major Sui dynasty attacks in the Goryeo-Sui Wars, which ends in 614 in a costly defeat for Sui. 612, Goryeo repulses second Sui invasion at the Salsu. 645, first campaign in the Goryeo-Tang War. 648, Silla establishes alliance with Tang. 660, Baekje falls to the Silla-Tang forces. 668, Goryeo falls to the Silla-Tang forces. North-South States period and later Three Kingdoms. 676, Silla repels Chinese alliance forces from Korean peninsula, completes unification of much of the Three Kingdoms. 698, the founding of Bali by former Goryeo general Dai Joyong. 751, Silla, at its cultural peak, constructs Sokguram and Bulguksa. 828, Jang Bogo establishes Gyeongajin, a major center of trade with China and Japan. 892, Silla begins to lose control of parts of the peninsula as the brief later Three Kingdoms period begins. 900, Baekje established in the southwest of the peninsula. 901, Taebong established in the northwest of the peninsula. 918, founding of Goryeo by Taejo of Goryeo. 926, Bali falls to Khitan forces. 935, Silla formally surrenders to Goryeo. 936, Baekje formally surrenders to Goryeo. Goryeo, 936, Goryeo completes the reunification of the later three kingdoms, absorbing the remainder of Hubei and parts of former Bali territory. 956, Emperor Guangzhong forces major land and slavery reforms, and in 958 implements civil service examinations. 993, the first of three Goryeo-Khitan Wars, 1010, the second Goryeo-Khitan War ravages the northern border. 1018, the third Goryeo-Khitan War, Khitan successfully repelled. 1033, Goryeo builds the Qianri-Jangseong, a massive wall running along the northern border. 1145, Kim Bu-sik compiles the Samguk Sagi, Korea's oldest extant history text. 1170, the military coup. 1231, the Mongol invasions of Korea begin. 1234, Troyani Sangjeongajim Yemun is published, world's first metal block printed text. 1251, Goryeo completes the Tripitaka Korana, the most comprehensive and oldest intact version of the Buddhist canon in Chinese script. 1268, Mongol peace treaty is signed which Mongols agree to protect them the best they can. 1270, Goryeo signs a peace treaty with the Mongols, beginning an 80-year period of Yuan overlordship. The Sambyoko rebellion lasts for 3 more years. 1285, Aelian compiles the Samguk User, record of history and legends. 1388, General Yi Songhai, ordered to engage China in a border dispute, turns his troops against the Goryeo court. Joseon, 1392, Yi Songhai crowned king, officially beginning the Joseon Dynasty. 1396, capital moved to Hanyang. 1402, paper currency initiated. 1408, high military service examination system created. 1420, Hall of Worthies established. 1424, History of Goryeo compiled. 1446, the Hangul alphabet, created 3 years earlier, is promulgated by King Sejong the Great. 1592, the Japanese invasion of Korea begins under the command of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Admiral Yi Sun-sin employs the turtle ship to repel Japanese naval forces. 1627, the First Manchu Invasion. 1636, the Second Manchu Invasion. 1653, Dutch ship, with Captain Hendrik Hamel, wrecked on Jeju Island. 1791, persecution of Catholicism begins. 1864, Gojong ascends the throne with his father, Daeungun, as regent. 1866, French campaign against Korea. 1871, United States expedition to Korea. 1876, Korean ports are formally opened under the Treaty of Ganghwa with Imperial Japan. 1884, Kim Ok-yeon leads the Gapsin coup. In 3 days, Chinese forces are able to overwhelm the progressives and their Japanese supporters. 1894, Dongok Rebellion prompts the First Sino-Japanese War on Gabo reforms. 1895, China recognizes Korean independence in the Treaty of Shimonoseki. Empress Myeongseong was murdered by Japanese assassins. 1896, February 11. King Gojong flees to the Russian legation in Seoul. Korean Empire. 1897, February 20. King Gojong returns to his palace after 1 year of refuge at the Russian legation. 1905, Japan-Korea Treaty of 1905. Korea became the protectorate of Imperial Japan. 1907, June. The Hague Secret Emissary Affair. 1907, July 18. Gojong was abdicated in favor of his son, Sunjong by Imperial Japan. 1909, October 26. Ito Hyarabumi is assassinated by Korean independence activist An Young-jun. 1910, August 29. The Japan-Korea Treaty of 1910 started the annexation of the Korean Empire by Imperial Japan. Japanese colonial rule, 1916, the final wave of Wibyung rebels is defeated by Japanese forces. 1919, March First Movement. Spurred by the sudden and mysterious death of Gojong. Declaration of Korean independence. Nationwide peaceful demonstrations are crushed by Japanese military and police forces after 2 months. Governor-General Hasegawa resigns. 1919, the establishment of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai. 1919, Saito Makoto appointed as third Governor-General of Korea. The period of cultural policy begins. 1920, Battle of Gyeongsneri, Korean Independence Army, led by Kim Jwa Jin, victory. 1926, June 10 movement. 1932, Korean independence activist Lee Bong-chang fails in his attempt to assassinate Emperor Hirohito in Tokyo. 1932, Korean independence activist Yun Bong-gil bombs Japanese military gathering in Shanghai. 1938, Governor-General of Korea begins Soshikame policy. 1945, the Empire of Japan surrenders to the Allies. According to the terms of Potsdam Declaration, Korea becomes independent. Division of Korea, 1945. After the surrender of Japan, the Korean peninsula is divided between Soviet and American occupation forces at the 38th parallel. 1945. South Korea created a franchise to raise money and funds to recover. 1945. September 6. Establishment of People's Republic of Korea with Yoo Woon-young, but 1946 February, U.S. Army breaks it and Yoo Woon-young is murdered. 1946, U.S.-USS A Joint Commission on the Formation of a Korean Government reaches an impasse. The Joint Commission is dissolved as the Cold War begins. 1948, May 10. UN-sponsored elections are held in South Korea. 1948, August 15. Establishment of the Republic of Korea with Syngman Rhee as president. 1948, September 9. Establishment of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea with Kim Il-sung as premier. 1949, the murder of Kim Gai. Kim Gai was a Korean independence activist who believed in, and fought for, a unified Korea. He strongly objected to the formation of a separate South Korean state. He was shot in his home by a South Korean Army lieutenant. 1950, June 25. The Korean War begins. 1950, August. UN forces are driven back to southeast corner of the Korean peninsula. 1950, September. UN troops make an amphibious landing at Incheon. 1950, November. Chinese forces enter the war. 1953, the Korean War is halted by the Korean Armistice Agreement that has remained in force until now. 1960, a student uprising begins the April Revolution which overthrows the autocratic First Republic of South Korea. Syngman Rhee resigns and goes into exile. 1961, May 16. Military forces, headed by General Park Chung-hee, overthrow the Second Republic of South Korea in what is known as the military coup d'état. Copyright Tat of May 16, 1961, November 12. Summit Conference for Normalization of Kurd-Japanese Relations, 1962, start of the first 5-year plans of South Korea, 1964, South Korea joined Vietnam War, 1965, June 22. Signing of Treaty on Basic Relations between Japan and the Republic of Korea. Earned both much controversy and procurement of budgets for later economic developments. 1967, start of the second 5-year plans of South Korea, 1968, January 21. An unsuccessful attempt of North Korean commandos to assassinate President Park Chung-hee. The Blue House Raid, 1968, April 1. Establishment of the Pohang Iron and Steel Company, 1968, December 5. Proclamation of the National Education Charter, 1970, April 22. Start of the government-operated New Community Movement, 1970, Gyeongbu Expressway is completed and open to traffic. 1972, start of the third 5-year plans of South Korea, 1972, August 12. The first Red Cross talks between North and South Korea are held. 1972, President Park Chung-hee declares emergency martial law and changes constitution in August, which may allow him to become the permanent ruler. This is similar to Gojong of the Korean Empire stating his country's governmental system as autocratic in the constitution for greater leadership and less opposition. 1974, August 15. Assassination of First Lady Yuk Young-soo by self-proclaimed North Korean Moon Se-gwang, 1976, August 18. The axe murder incident in Panmunjom, Joint Security Area. Triggers former North Korean leader Kim Il-sung's first official apology to the South. 1976, October 12, discontinuation of rice imports, accomplishment of total self-sufficiency in rice by the Unification Rice, 1977, start of the fourth five-year plans of South Korea, 1977, December 22. Celebration of achievement of $10 billion gained by exports. 1978, October 26. Detection of third underground tunnel. Made by North Korea to attack South Korea. 1978, December 10. Achievement of $1,117 as GNP. 1979, American President Jimmy Carter visits Korea. Threatens Park by stating he would reduce the U.S. forces in Korea if he does not stop the ongoing nuclear weapons development project. 1979, October 26, President Park Chung-hee is assassinated by Chief of KCIA, Kim Jae-ju. 1979, coup d'etat copyright tat of December 12, Chun Doo-hwan gets military power, 1980, Gwangju massacre. Martial law is declared throughout the nation. The city of Gwangju becomes a battleground between dissenters and the armed forces. Some reports claim over 100 casualties. 1987, a student uprising begins the June Democracy Movement, which overthrows the autocratic Fifth Republic of South Korea. The ruling party of Fifth Republic, Democratic Justice Party, declares democratic elections. 1988, 24th Olympic Games held in Seoul, 1990, September 11, South Korea and the USSR establish diplomatic relations. 1991, September 17, North Korea and South Korea join the United Nations. 1992, August 11, South Korea's first satellite, Kitsat-1, also known as Ish-EE-cubed, is successfully launched from Guyana Space Center. 1992, August 24, South Korea and the People's Republic of China establish diplomatic relations. 1993, test of Rodong-1, a single-stage, mobile liquid propellant medium-range ballistic missile by the DPRK. 1994, Kim Jong-il takes control of North Korea upon the death of his father Kim Il-sung. Start of the arduous March 1998, Apodong-1, a two-stage intermediate-range ballistic missile is developed and tested by the DPRK. And of the arduous march. It is possible that up to 3.5 million people did not survive the march. 1999, the DPRK promises to freeze long-range missile tests. 2002, the 2002 FIFA World Cup jointly held by Korea and Japan. South Korea national football team makes it to the semi-finals for the first time in Korean football history. The DPRK pledges to extend moratorium on missile tests beyond 2003. 2004, the DPRK reaffirms moratorium. 2005, the DPRK fires short-range missile into the East Sea. 2006, test of Apodong-2 by DPRK, a successor of Apodong-1. There is a nuclear test in the DPRK. U.S. officials assert it might have been a misfire. 2007, the second summit between DPRK and ROK leaders is held, with Roh Moo-hyun representing the South and Kim Jong-il the North. The DPRK fires short-range missile into the Sea of Japan, East Sea. 2009, North Korea launches a rocket, supposedly for space exploration. This move affects relationships with Japan, the United States and South Korea. The DPRK conducts another nuclear test. 2010, North Korea launches missile and attacks Korean Pohang-class corvette, ROKS Kyonan. 46 Korean soldiers die because of the attack. At November, North Korean Army rains artillery fire on Yeonpyeong-do Island. The DPRK conducts, yet again, another nuclear test. 2011, Kim Jong-il dies, Kim Jong-un takes over as the supreme leader of North Korea. The National Intelligence Service discovers communist spies who have been working underground for the DPRK for almost 10 years. One of the members was a former Democratic Party representative. Their mission was to influence the party named above and extract military secret information. 2012, April 13, the Kim regime of the DPRK tested a rocket, officially called Unha-3, an expendable launch system developed from the Soviet Scud rockets. The rocket was to send a satellite, called Kwangmu-NGSANG-3, into orbit. The rocket failed to launch the satellite and fell into the Yellow Sea. The mission ultimately ended in complete failure. 2012, December 12, DPRK has successful launch of Kwangmu-NGSANG-3 Unit 2. It was launched from the Sui satellite launching ground. A South Korean military official cited three-stage success. DPRK confirmed. 2012, December 19, Park Geun-hye, a daughter of Park Chung-hee, is elected as first female and the 11th President of South Korea. 2013, December 8, Jang Song-taek, uncle of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, was ousted from all powerful posts on various charges. The official Korean Central News Agency said the political bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea stripped Jang of all posts, depriving him of all titles and expelling him and removing his name from the party. 2013, December 12, North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un executes his uncle, Jang Song-taek, as a traitor for all ages. Jang Song-taek's execution was said to be set up by his own wife, Kim Kyung-hee, late Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il's sister. Jang Song-taek was considered to be the most powerful official in the DPRK regime. See also, List of Korea-related topics, History of Korea, Military History of Korea, List of Korean monarchs, Timeline of Seoul history. References. Further reading, Benjamin Vincent, Korea, Haydn's Dictionary of Dates, London, Ward, Lock and Company. Via Hathi Trust, Ian Preston, ed. Republic of Korea. Political Chronology of Central, South and East Asia. Political Chronologies of the World. Europa Publications pages 160-181. ISBN 978-1-135-35680-4. Plus Democratic People's Republic of Korea. External links, Timeline of Korean History, Timeline of 20th Century Korean History. USA, Public Broadcasting Service. Comparative China-Korea-Japan Arts Timeline, BBC News. South Korea Profile, Timeline. BBC News. North Korea Profile, Timeline. Timeline of Korean History. Asia for Educators. USA, Columbia University. Korea. Heilbronn Timeline of Art History. New York, Metropolitan Museum of Art.